What's happening, good people? Welcome back. Welcome back. Today I got my gray shirt on. I had on a white shirt yesterday. So if you don't notice, I am posting my videos on Facebook. Not all of them. Maybe out of every three. Whenever I feel like posting them. So if you didn't know that, check them out on Facebook. Check me out on Facebook. That's all I'm doing right now. But I will start doing more things as far as posting on Facebook here and Instagram here in the upcoming weeks that pertain to writing and gardening and composting and things of that nature. Me and my brother, we're making some really good compost right now, and as you guys would know, guys and gals, if you watched any of my other videos, Bajillion, this story that I'm writing right now, is about exactly that: writing, composting, growing things, trying to be healthier, and a whole bunch more. And we're making that discovery together. As I said also before, you guys start leaving comments. And for the ones that have read comments, don't be discouraged. I gotta edit this part out, that burping. Don't be discouraged because I know that I have comments, but I can't see them. For some reason, YouTube is not being too friendly to me these days. I am no longer monetized, and they are messing with me. I'm a very small YouTuber right now. Only have 5,000 and some subscribers. But anyways, we'll get back in there as far as being monetized and going by the rules here in the future. Okay, anyways, let's get right into it, man. I got my coffee here. Not a lot left in there. My number one dad cup. I don't know if you guys, number one dad cup. One of my kids bought that for me years ago. And I'm about to pour some water because, the brain during the thinking process has to stay lubricated at all times. And this water has ice in it. That's why it's coming out the way it is. It has a big chunk of ice, I guess. Can't really see the ice. It either has ice in it or this bottle is playing games. Like I said, I can't see the ice, but it has to be in it. Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear that. All right, without further ado, I'm going to take me a sip of coffee and maybe a sip of water real quick, and we'll get right into it. Oh, let me take a sip of water. God bless this water so that I may be able to put this story together in such a way that the reader can fully understand what I'm saying, be entertained, be educated, and just have a good, enjoyable ride. Amen. All right. Listening to Lupe explain the effect of the drug, Suge had an idea. Using Lupe's expertise, he picked a handful and placed them in a pouch. Earlier in the year, Suge had given his son Frederick a few gallons of corn liquor while he was visiting from New Jersey. Soon the visits increased along with a demand for more product. Being the person he was, his son saw it as an opportunity to get rich quick, regardless of who was involved in the scheme. Sometime around visit 3, Suge remembered Freddie saying something about the liquor being so good that he could sell it on the black market to the right people. Connected people is how he'd put it. But his father had no intentions in the money. But his father had no interest in the money or his son's connected people, and as a deterrent, Suge, in his infinite wisdom, thought that spiking the liquor with mushrooms would be the thing to send the Shiesty group laughing and ultimately crying in horror on their way. According to Freddie, the Northerners loved the stuff and wanted more. Money swapped hands, more money than expected. As a bonus from the family, and it wasn't long before Freddie owed more product than his father could make. He became indebted to the Bianchi family, an old Italian New Jersey crime syndicate. They needed a new batch. Apple pie was their favorite flavor, and apple pie was what they wanted according to Freddie. Okay, so the first read. Okay, time right now is 7:26. I've been up since since 6:30, maybe. Trying to, gotta make my bed. I gotta shave my calluses off my feet. Gotta vacuum that up. And then I gotta make the coffee. Gotta, stretch. So I'm still not awake, y'all. I'm still not awake. But give me a second. And for the past, I don't even know, week, I haven't been sleeping good at all. I think Monday I got maybe an hour worth of sleep. I'm being serious. Some writers, we can't turn it off. And especially when you get back into writing mode, sometimes it's hard to turn it off. So you're laying in bed, this mind just not necessarily on the story, but just going like a guinea pig or a gerbil, or what do you call a hamster, on the hamster wheel, just spinning. And you just like, let me get up and make me a sandwich, maybe that sandwich will calm my brain down a little bit. And that's how I've been that way for years. So, all right, so we're gonna break it back to the top, y'all. We're gonna bring it back right here. Listening to Lupe explain the effects of the drug, Suge had an idea. Using Lupe's expertise, he picked a handful and placed them in a pouch. Early in the year, Suge had given his son Frederick a few gallons of corn liquor while he was visiting. Excuse me. Now I got a burp. While he was visiting from New Jersey. Soon the visits increased along with the demand for more product. Being the person he was, his son saw it as an opportunity to get rich quick, regardless of who was involved in the scheme. Sometimes around visit 3, Suge remembered Freddie saying something about the liquor being so good that he could sell it on the black market to the right people. Connected people is how he put it. But his father had no interest in the money or his son's connected people. And as a deterrent, Suge, in his infinite wisdom, thought that spiking the liquor with the mushrooms would be the thing to send the Shicey group laughing and ultimately crying in horror on their way. Now y'all gotta remember, I've never done mushrooms. I know zero. I mean, I know a little bit about mushrooms, but I don't know a lot about mushrooms. I don't know what would happen if you put mushrooms in corn liquor. That may kill you. I don't know, but for the purposes of a fictional story, okay, we're gonna go with it. And right now I don't know what's gonna happen. Because I hadn't gotten that far. This right now, this book is 98 pages, and before it's done, it's going to be about 350 pages. So it's a lot to add to the story. And again, I'm asking you all to comment, make suggestions, edit, but at the same time, please know that the only credit you're going to get is in the comment section, or I may put the whole comment section if it makes it to the book, in the book. Okay, so you may get credit that way, but don't expect any monetary gain. All right, but I'm gonna tell you right now, this story is bigger than me. This story is 25 years old. It started in 1999, June timeframe, Phoenix, Arizona, and I was going through a transition. I just got out of the military. I was trying to figure out my life at 22 years old, or 22 years old. I think I was 22. Yeah. And I had the first day in Phoenix, I got robbed. Then I had police harassment, I had racism, a whole bunch of stuff. According to Freddie, the Northerners loved the stuff and wanted more. Money swapped hands, more money than expected. As a bonus from the family, and it wasn't long before Freddie owed more product than his father could make. He became indebted to the Bianchi family, an old Italian New Jersey crime syndicate. They needed a new batch. Apple pie was their favorite, and apple pie was what they wanted, according to Freddie. Sometime after the concoction was made, a taste test was done. The raisins, sometime after the concoction was made, and despite having added the mushrooms, the taste test was done. Sometime after the concoction was made, see, I'm gonna put a comma here. Some people might say, you don't need a comma. The word "and" is a comma. Not necessarily. I want you to pause there for a second. Sometime after the concoction was made, and despite having added the mushrooms, a taste test was done. The raisins cut the bitterness, gave it a sweetness, it's apple pie, so I have to say something about apples. It's apple pie, yeah. Sometime after the concoction was done, excuse my tongue this morning. And I'm reading this out loud. This is something I never ever did in my life. I have never attempted to film while I put together a book. Now, this series, Bajillion, is going to include the rough draft, definitely. Me finishing the rough draft, maybe not the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth draft, seventh, sometime 12th. You know, you go over a book 1,000 times before it's published. But it's also going to include, if I'm going to submit it to a traditional publisher to see if it gets picked up. If it does, you won't see the whole publishing part because it'll be in their hands at that point. But if it doesn't, like the other 5, if it doesn't get picked up by a traditional publisher, you'll see the publishing process as well on video. And this is something that you can listen to while you drive from Charleston, South Carolina to Orlando to take your kids or to whatever. When you're that security guard at that bank that just sits around and not do a whole bunch of stuff. This is something that you can listen to and enjoy, or whatever you do where you have a lot of time on your hands, where you can just zone out and do nothing. You can listen to my lovely voice. I've been told I have a lovely voice. Now my pronunciations of words and all that stuff, they're getting better. Okay, but anyways, I digress. Let's get back to it. I said something about apples. Sometime after the concoction was made, and despite having added the mushrooms, a taste test was done. The raisins cut the bitterness, gave it a sweetness. Okay, the raisins, along with the apples, because it's apple pie. The raisins along with the apples cut the bitterness, gave it a sweetness, gave it more sweetness, while the mushrooms did something neither Hank nor Suge ever wanted to try again. Once again, while the mushrooms did something neither Hank nor Suge ever wanted to try again. After only 2 small tastes from all 3 men, where did I get 2 from? After only a small taste from all 3 men and an hour of fishing, the fish trip. Goodness gracious, y'all. I'm sorry. Dyslexia kicking in. I think people think I'm joking when I say you don't have to. I'm not even gonna say it, but anyways, I'm not the best reader for a reason. Yeah, sometimes it's a struggle. Sometime after the concoction was made, and despite having added the mushrooms, a taste test was done. The raisins, along with the apples, cut the bitterness, gave it more sweetness, while the mushrooms did something neither Hank nor Suge ever wanted to try again. After only a small taste from all 3 men and an hour of fishing, the first trip came on. It was unlike anything Suge had ever tried before, and he'd been to Vietnam at a time when it was common practice to literally use shotguns as marijuana bongs. The sky turned a fluorescent purple while birds began singing Motown's greatest hits. There were 5 blue jays sitting on a limb of an old magnolia whistling, "Just my imagination, running away with me." Okay, now I can sing a little bit. The early morning sun was smiling and singing along. Realizing the effects of the substance, Hank immediately poured what remained in the pond. Poured out. No. They only took a sip, right? I'm gonna take a sip right now. All right, so right now at this point, we're not gonna start here again, okay? That's enough. We did enough finessing on that, enough massaging, enough picking on that portion. We're gonna start it up right here on the next go around. So we have just moved forward a little bit. That deserves applause. And so we're gonna clap it up right there, okay? All right. So, but I got a little issue here. It's saying it took a sip. All right, so we're gonna. Sometime after the concoction was made, and despite having added mushrooms, a taste test was done. The raisins, along with the apples, cut the bitterness, gave it more sweetness. Wow. I just feel like doing some parentheses right now. Gave it more sweetness, while the mushrooms did something neither Hank nor Suge ever wanted to try again. After only a small taste, from all 3 men, an hour of fishing, the first trip came on. It was unlike anything Suge had ever tried before, and he'd been to Vietnam at a time when it was common practice to literally use shotguns as marijuana bongs. For Suge, the sky turned a fluorescent purple while birds began singing Motown's greatest hits. There were 5 blue jays sitting on a limb. There were five blue jays sitting on a limb of an old magnolia whistling, "Just my imagination." Should I make quotations? The early morning sun was smiling and singing along, realizing the effects. Alright. Maybe they're having the same trip. Yeah, let's say that. Realizing the effects of the substance, Hank immediately poured out what remained in the pond. So this is where my problem is. I said they took a sip. I didn't clarify what type, how they take that sip. Okay, so let me do this. Okay, sometime after the concoction was made, and despite having added mushrooms, small portions were poured into their cups. Were poured into cups, and a taste test was done. Alright, that's sometime after the concoction was made, and despite having added the mushrooms, small portions were poured into cups, and a taste test was done. Okay, that sounds a little bit better. Sometime after the concoction was made, and despite having added the mushrooms, small portions were poured into cups, and a taste test was done. The raisins, along with the apples, cut the bitterness, gave it more sweetness, while the mushrooms did something neither Hank nor Suge ever wanted to try again. After only a small taste, after only a taste from all 3 men, and an hour of fishing, and I don't even know how long it takes for mushrooms to kick in. And after only a taste from all 3 men, and half an hour, and half an hour fishing, and half an hour fishing. Please remember, this is a rough draft, y'all. Please. After only a taste from all 3 men, and in half an hour, and half an hour of fishing, the first trip came on. It was unlike anything Suge had ever tried before. It was unlike anything Suge had ever experienced before. It was unlike anything Suge had ever experienced before. And a half an hour. And a half an hour. And he'd been to Vietnam at a time when it was common practice to literally use shotguns as marijuana bombs. The sky turned a fluorescent purple while birds began singing Motown's greatest hits. There were 5 blue jays sitting on a limb of an old magnolia whistling Just My Imagination. The early morning sun was smiling and singing along. Realizing the effects of the substance, Hank immediately poured out what remained. Hank immediately poured his cup out. Hank immediately poured out what remained in his cup, into the pond. Hours later, the drug had died down some, but still doing things that had no control. Hours later, the drug had died down some, but still doing things they had no control over. Both Hank and Suge had gone on an adventure they were not anticipating. While the two men vowed never to touch the stuff again, Lupe wanted more. Coming down, however, totally down, some 8 hours later, after the Temptations and the Supremes had played their final number, Suge decided the new concoction would be the perfect deterrent. I said deterrent before. It'd be the perfect thing to give his deviant son and the crime family to leave him alone. I'll just leave that there for now. He'd mixed a jug in the next batch, not telling his son the plan. Okay. Alright, so now finally we're getting back to Jacob, y'all. Finally. Hey, what are you staring at? Someone asked. Daddy. Hey, Dad. Huh? Oh, nothing. Just nothing, the man replied after coming back to reality. Now be careful with that bucket and rod so they don't brush up against the bushes. Just try to be quiet, said Henry. Okay, so this is where we're gonna. And I apologize for that. That took some brain power there, y'all, to get through that little portion. So my apologies. But we're gonna pick it back up. I say right here, but let me back it up a little bit more, because I need to feel comfortable right now, with going over it this time. So I'm gonna back it up. Yeah, I'll back it up to right here. This is where we're gonna start tomorrow. All right. So anyways, oh wow, it's been 30 minutes, y'all. Y'all, till next time, man. Y'all be blessed. Thanks for stopping by. I told you, some days I'll go 15 minutes. Some days I'll go 30 minutes. Some days in the future I'm gonna be going like hours. I'm talking literally hours. So if you're ready for that trip, we're gonna do it together, y'all. But this is bigger than me, like I said. Anyways, salute to all y'all. Till next time. This is Anthony L. Kelly. Leave a comment, suggestions, all the good stuff. Like, subscribe. Till next time, I'm out.